Welcome back to One Line a Day, weekend edition, January 5th through January 7th, because I had a lot of plans this weekend, so we're going to do all of it right now. If you're new here, this is a journal I kept where I wrote down at least one line a day of something I did for 5 years. That would be years 2019 to 2023, and for me, ages 25 to 30. Also, I slept with my hair wet. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm 30. Just leave me the fuck alone. And your last reminder that some of the names have been changed. All right, January 5th. 2019. It looks like I stayed up really late the night before that, and I just woke up super hungover, and I didn't wake up till 1 p.m., which, again, I was 25 years old. Makes a lot of sense, and I still do that now, so no judgment. I apparently watched The Good Place. I got Thai food with my roommate, and then we watched the Ruth Bader Ginsburg documentary, and then I went to bed super early. January 5th, 2020, I FaceTimed Steve at that time. Again, I was in Birmingham by that point, and I went with a friend to Sloss Furnace, which is like this old furnace that's been shut down, and you can go tour it. And then we walked around, did a tour. I tried a new nail salon, got a pedicure, and just kind of like meal prepped and got ready. January 5th, 2021. It looks like I was still kind of editing some stuff for work. Again, I was in Birmingham at that time, working for It's a Southern Thing, and I ordered new pans. Big deal for me. I was actually fully getting into cooking over the pandemic. And then I could actually walk to my therapist in Birmingham. That was huge. And I think this might have been my first therapist appointment. I guess we'll see. But I'm super thankful to have started therapy. It was like the best decision I made in my 20s. And apparently I took some advice and sent an email that I did not want to send. And apparently my grandfather was in the hospital. And I finished watching America's Next Top Model. All right, January 5th, 2022. I worked from home. Oh, and then I copied my keys and sent them to my boyfriend at the time, Jake. Important piece of a story that lingers for, I think, over a year, so we'll get back to that. And then I think I worked till 11 p.m., and then I called Steve that night, and we just, chatted and catched up. And January 5th, 2023, I was up early for our last game drive in Africa. Again, I was on my solo South Africa trip. And it looks like then we took a flight to Johannesburg, and we kind of had our last dinner together as a group and had a little sleepover, and it was really, really cute. And of course, January 5th, 2024, I went out and watched the first episode of Drag Race at a friend's place in Brooklyn, and I was an hour and 48 minutes late because I was coming from Harlem with another friend, and so I'm just glad we even made it. And then we went to another one of my friends' birthday parties in the Lower East Side, and it was really big for me because I'm doing dry January, and I really kept to it and stayed out till 2 a.m. still and had a blast, so I'm really proud of myself for that. All right, January 6th, spoilers, I was not at the Capitol, even though I'm wearing this I'm Just a Bill shirt. It's just actually a total coincidence this morning. Okay, January 6th, 2019, I was living in LA, and I got brunch with a close friend of mine who I'm still friends with in K-Town. We got souffles, those big fluffy pancakes, and then we watched the Eagles and Bears wild card game at a bar. I'm a huge Eagles fan, and obviously, if you know anything about that year, big year for us. And then I went home and I meal prepped Fly Eagles Fly. I literally wrote in there. January 6th, 2020, I actually established primary care with a doctor in Birmingham, and she was awesome. I actually miss her to this day. I wish I could have kept her as my doctor forever. She was fucking awesome. And then there was a lot of drama. Oh, I was trying to get my IUD replaced, and I remember there being a lot of drama because I wanted to be put down for it because the first time I got it, it was absolutely fucking awful. And of course, insurance is no, we're not going to cover any of that. And I was really broke, and I'm still broke. So I was well, we're going to grin and bear it, I guess. I don't know. And I also love in there that I wrote that I had a little mental breakdown that day. All right, January 6th, 2021. I had just moved to a new apartment in Birmingham where it had that combo washer dryer where it's the same machine. And I remember really struggling to figure it out that day. And then it looks like I worked, but I pretty much stopped as soon as I saw the coup attempt kind of happen on TV, and I think everyone I worked with just kind of stopped working that day. And then January 6, 2022, I worked from home again. I think I was still feeling sick. I made a day in the life TikTok. I guess you can go watch that. I was working on a lot of shows that I wrote down in features, and I called one of my best friends from college. I had started with a new therapist because I couldn't keep seeing the one I was with in Birmingham, and we did a Zoom session, and then I called Jake at that time. And January 6th, 2023, that was the last day of my like solo trip where we were in Johannesburg. We said some goodbyes because people had to leave early. We went to Constitutional Hill Museum and tour, went to like a really fancy like place to get lunch and cocktails, and then I had a flight from Johannesburg to London. And then January 6, 2024, I slept in. It was snowing for the first time this year in New York, which is super exciting. I went to go get cake at a friend's apartment for her birthday. And then I went to another friend's apartment where we watched Saltburn and played like board games and hung out. Side note, I will be making a Saltburn Murder on the Dance Floor dance TikTok later. I can't help myself. Alrighty, January 7th, 2019. This one is an up and down woozy. I had woke up and went to the gym, and then I had left all my meals at my place, so I had to drive back, and then I forgot the meals again. So, bad day to start. But I apparently also finished Danny Phantom. I guess I was doing a rewatch, which is not weird for me. And then work was like really busy. Alabama lost, and then I got in a fight with Steve, which again, not shocking. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should like go on a solo trip in the summer. But then I also heard that my car insurance went down $40. So wild day. And then January 7th, 2020, I dropped off my car because I was having car troubles, got a rental car, and I worked on an article for work. And then I had a movie night with some friends in Birmingham. And we talked about doing the Sidewalk Scramble, which is a film festival in Alabama. And they do those 48-hour scrambles, which are super fun. And then January 7th, 2021, I just wrote I couldn't focus on anything because the news about like COVID, and my grandpa at the time had a lung infection. I was in the hospital. Like it wasn't COVID, but he was 90 at the time. So really, I was like really scared. And I remember having a call with my boss that day to clarify like my role because work was just also not going well. And then, my friend Meredith said I could use her name. So I remember FaceTiming her that day. Hey, Mare. And then I had a Zoom. I had started a late night comedy writing course online. And so a bunch of us had kind of just like decided to have a Zoom that night and like go through jokes. And then they messed up my Chipotle order that I delivered. And then January 7th, 2022, it was the first big snow here in New York. Ironic because yesterday was our first big snowstorm in New York. And I remember walking to Central Park and just kind of having like a little main character moment there. And then I remember work being crazy. I worked till like super late and ordered some Indian food. And then I had a bottle of wine with my upstairs neighbor who actually ended up moving back to Europe. So kind of sad. Then we get to January 7th, 2023. This day was nuts. I landed in London and they landed me in Heathrow. And then I was like, oh no, like, they're like, you're actually out of Gatwick. So then they're like, but the public transit's down, so you gotta take a bus to Gatwick. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So then I get on this like hour-long bus that I paid like 50 euros to get to Gatwick. And as soon as I get out and the bus is like pulling away, I get a notification email like, flight update, your flight's been pushed and you're now out of Heathrow. And I was like, are you fucking shitting me? So then I have to like go wait another hour, get back on this bus to Heathrow. And at that point too, like I had all these little like mini alcohol things I had gotten for friends, and because I now have to go through security again because I technically switched airports, I had to drink them all. So I am just like wasted on this bus from like Gatwick to Heathrow. And I remember I treated myself to a lounge, and then I like got upgraded on the flight, which was like ideal. And January 7th, 2024, here I am. I slept in and I'm gonna go grocery shopping and do laundry and kind of like just get my life together today. And we'll see you tomorrow.